It was good. It's your boy, Mr. Wonka7. Just fucking around with some new camera setup so you're not looking at the same stuff every time you do a vlog review. Well, I've said I was going to review Suikoden 2 after 1, so here we are. I'm officially done with Suikoden 2 as of yesterday, which was... I can't even check the date. It was, I suspect, to be the 15th of March. Possibly even the 16th. No, today's the 16th, so it was around the Ides. And I gotta say, yesterday I really did it all day. I was playing Suikoden for 11 hours. Which I don't usually play video games for that long, but I didn't really pace myself very well, so I was thinking, is it going to end next hour or one after? I didn't know what the hell was going on with that ending. It's like, when's the final boss thing going to pull up to the scene so I can wrap this up? Don't worry, I'm not one of those like MMO neats where like I starve myself. I was like cooking on the side. I was making protein shakes. I was good. I was satiated while I was doing that. But now I'm gonna do my review. So this was an interesting one because Suikoden 1 was a really well-paced game, and I 100%ed it within 27 or 28 hours of the game. I had a wavy save file. Whereas here, I didn't really 100% it, and I was 40 hours into it, even though you can get to the final dungeon well within 20 hours of the game. A big reason for that was I didn't really think 100%ing it was worth it. I didn't try to 100% Suikoden 1, and that game had glitches, but it didn't really have the level of glitchiness that Suikoden 2 had. Y'all Final Fantasy VII fans, haters actually, y'all like to criticize Final Fantasy VII for having a crazy translation with typos and misspellings everywhere, and they also like to criticize the glitchiness. Suikoden 2 had a worse translation, and it was 2 standard deviations below in quality when it came to the level of glitchiness. I was thinking, did I just fuck my shit up every time I played the game? First I did something I knew would cause the game to glitch, but I was reckless as hell and was trying to rush. For a certain side quest of the game you can only do with a Suikoden 1 save file. And then the next time I tried to boot it up and I went to the world map, the screen got all possessed and shit. I was thinking, damn, did I fuck up my digital download? But nah, Suikoden 2 was a really glitchy game, and collecting some MacGuffins for your castle is a very daunting task. That's honestly the only flaw in this game though, because I found everything else to be damn near perfect. The soundtrack is improved tonally. It has a really good PlayStation 1 intro. The dungeon themes, boss themes, some of them carried over from the first game and were executed even better in this one. Some I wish had a comeback, like the Warriors Village theme. Some of the dungeon themes or like enemy territory type themes. But the things that did make a comeback, and some of the new OST tracks that were introduced are top of the line in my honest opinion. I really enjoyed the soundtrack of this one, especially the OST track that plays when you're doing not missions, but war battles, when it starts to become like a strategy game. Battle system has retained most of its features from the original one. A couple of big differences being that you can equip 3 runes now instead of just 1, which makes boss battles way more interesting now, since you can make your physical attackers into beasts, even if their stats are somewhat shitty, and your magic users are just gonna tear the house up. So there really is a feeling that there's a lot more that you can do in battles, and it hasn't been as stripped down as Suikoden 1 was when it comes to the typical RPG formula. Recruiting characters is also pretty fun, but there aren't as much moments where you can recruit characters and just do that for a while. In this game, I feel as if the main storyline quests are a bigger focus, and you seem to get a lot more of it, which is okay. Because the plotline in this game is actually really good. It's got an A story, a B story. You really have that duality of protagonist thing going on. For you anime weebs, it's kind of like Naruto and Sasuke, where sometimes there's an A story with your main character, the hero of the story, and then there's a B story with this new guy called Joey, who is in your squad for a while, and then he does this big betrayal thing. This is a story that you really don't want to get spoiled to you all that often, but if you try it out for yourself, it has probably one of the best plots of any RPG out there. Although that is just my opinion, but I found myself really curious as to what was going to happen next. Kind of like in Suikoden 1, except here it was a lot more intense because the villains in this story were a lot more badass. You felt that they could do anything that they wanted. They were powerful, they were skilled, they were competent. Unlike the 5 generals of Suikoden 1, the major generals and captains of Suikoden 2 just feel unbeatable at first. And they're real bastards in the beginning until you find out that some of them are actually just good people who know that the current antagonist is a piece of shit, but they feel if they can just get him out of the way and keep their empire, they can reform it to something better. So there's a lot of that. In general, the story is of a... Just talking about the political stuff first. Some false flag attack happened right before the signing of a peace treaty between two warring nations, the city-state and the Highland Empire. Of course, Highland Empire made it look as if the city-state attacked them, which they didn't. And Joey and your main protagonist, since they were soldiers for Highland, they were witnesses, so of course, since they got out alive, they were branded as traitors, and now they're joining a returning cast of Suikoden 1, just a B team for a new rebellion. Of course, some betrayal happens, some unwanted death happens, and it takes a while for the real feeling of Suikoden to come into this game. I didn't really feel as if it was in Suikoden territory until maybe 10 hours into the game, when you're finally just going around and recruiting all the characters you want to recruit and building up an interesting castle and leveling it up. But overall, really good. In terms of visuals, this game looks very similar to Suikoden 1 on a graphical level. 2D sprites, battles have some 3D effects going on. But I do notice that there's some CG now. When you do special moves or when something interesting happens in the story, they cut to an FMV cutscene. So there's that, and the magic spells, because of these special effects, seem a lot more powerful. A lot has been done more to give the visuals impact rather than just make it look pretty. That seems to be the emphasis of the graphics in this game, and because I really like the storytelling, both actual plot-wise and just the attention to detail when you're playing the game casually, I liked it. overall, this is the better game between Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2. Suikoden 2 is better. The pacing isn't as good, no. And the glitches really hold us back from being the greatest RPG of all time. It really does lower it down a peg or two. But I can tell why people would say this is a must-play JRPG. It really does have a lot of the key ingredients. Good gameplay, great story, something to make it unique, which is the militarized combat system, character recruitment. One thing I don't like is that a lot of the military strategy battles, most of them were scripted as fuck in the beginning. It really doesn't get any good until maybe 75% into the game, 75% through, when you got most of your dudes and you're actually supposed to win your battles instead of just watching the story pan out in the battles. I don't like scripted battles. They're really annoying, and they kind of make it so that you don't really care what's going on. You just want to sit back and watch things play out. That's not the kind of gamer I am. So that was really annoying, but when they get good because once you really have control over the outcome of these battles and you can strategize, make your units all pimp, that's when the beauty of the game mechanics for that comes out. It has a lot more potential in the military battles of Suikoden 1, since that was essentially rock, paper, scissors, and all the difficulty drops once you recruit a bunch of ninjas on your side. But here, you really feel like it's anyone's game, which, again, wasted potential. That knocks it down a peg as well. But overall, it kicks ass. Anyway, this has been your boy, Mr. Wonka 7. Maybe do like a political rant later on. And Uksea me ikte.